Hi guys, so as promised I had a little play with Gina, my practice hand, and here we have the results. So first of all I'm going to use a coloured acrylic as a design powder and a bit of chunky glitter on top. So I'm working as if I would on a client, so I've just buffed that natural nail. Obviously on a client you prep and prime and everything. I've applied my form and now I'm just using my clear acrylic to get a nice blended join. Obviously your form should fit snugly underneath the nail, but I always like to put a little bit of clear just to give me a rough idea of the shape of the nail I'm going to do, and also to make sure that there's a nice smooth transition from natural nail to extension. Now for some reason I just spent ages playing around because I couldn't decide what shape I was going to do, so you've got like 20 seconds of me literally playing with the tip. I would not normally spend this long doing this. I was just, am I going to do square, am I going to do almond, and eventually I decided on coffin. And then I will pop a layer of clear acrylic on the nail bed, so from the cuticle area and down. So that will prevent any staining, and it also means when it comes to redesign I can just file down to that thin clear base and redesign. So I'm coming in first of all with a CJP Candy Apple. So I've got a small to medium sized bead, taking a little bit of liquid out of the back of it, and then I'm just gently pushing it back. I lay it a little in front of where I want it to be, so then I can gently push it back towards the cuticle area so you don't risk flooding that cuticle area. And then I'm just gently stroking, tap, pat, pulling it down the nail because I want that full colour. So I don't want it to go too thin, but I also don't want to be really thick and bulky. So I'm wanting to add colour without bulk at this point. So just nice and gently moving it down the nail, making sure I'm not getting any crease there on the join, and down to the end. Now when you're working with coloured acrylic, make sure whenever you dip your brush in the monomer, I know it's really tempting to, but when you dip the brush in the monomer and when you take it out, don't draw it against the side of your dappen dish, just then wipe it straight on your kitchen towel, because what that will do is it will stop getting loads of colour in your monomer. So just popped it to the side there so you see how thin I've worked. And now I'm going to come in with a bit of this chunky glitter. This is a new Mix It Up Monday glitter. And as you can see, little bead of acrylic, little amount of glitter. And this is called Rockin Ruby. Thank you Donna for helping name this one. I do on the Glitter Fairy group, I have a naming poll every week, and it was like the third suggestion. I was like, I'm not even going to put that to poll, I love it too much. And now I'm using just my wet brush and I'm just placing little extra bits of glitter on there. As you can see, I use a small bit at a time and then I just place it on the nail gently, tapping it in to that wet acrylic. So the secret when working with a chunky glitter is less is more. Pick up small beads and small bits of glitter and place them where you want them. So you can see it's still nice and thin, nothing's sticking up. Use the body of your brush just to pat and tap and make sure that that's all nice and flat. And then I'm going to tap. Then I'm going to tap that now. I'm going to cap that entire nail in crystal glass. So I'm placing that bead on a little in front of where I want it, and then using my brush to just push it back towards that cuticle area. And I always kind of do swipes at the side, mainly because I don't want it then to kind of like run into the cuticle and sidewalls. So I always kind of swipe forward and it almost gives it a bit of a track for the acrylic to follow it. So I'm just tapping and patting and pulling that forward. Just making sure all of that glitter turns nice and matte so I know it's encapsulated. Checking it from all angles, making sure I'm happy with the coverage, making sure there's no bits I've missed. So it's a little thin on the tip, so I'm just going to add a little bead of acrylic there. I'll have taken a little bit of liquid out of this one because it's smaller. As much as I can with my brush so that when it comes to filing I'm just refining that shape. Okay, I'm going to let that set and then I'm going to remove the form and then I'm going to start filing it. So usual side roll, do a little draw underneath both, free edge, and then starting at the cuticle area, nice and gently round there. Now, it's my little disclaimer, it's been a long while since I've used my practice hand, so this nail is ever so slightly on the so the side I'm filing at the moment, the form was a little crooked because I struggled to get it to stick. It was a lot better on the other nails, but I just wanted to get that out there. And also that little ridge at the cuticle, I forgot how annoying that was on these things. So yeah, I kept hitting that. So usual filing technique, gently around the cuticle area, and then I'm doing the body of the nail. As I've said before in other videos, make sure that when you file the nail, you file it as a complete. So even if it's a bit lopsided on one side, try not to spend too much time on that side, because then you'll make it even more lopsided. So try and work the nail as a whole. So starting on one side, nice kind of circular sweeping movements. So starting from one side and then going round to the full nail. So in certain areas I've thought, oh, it's a little bulky here, so I'm going to put a little more pressure on at this point to take away a little more than I have on the other side, but it means that you get a nice rounded smooth nail. And here's the plus point of working with a practice tip. I'm just going to slip the finger off now. Can't do this with your clients. And there you go, you can see the thickness I'm working. So that is with a coloured acrylic and with a glitter, and it's still the thickness of a credit card. So just sliding that back on, click us back into place, and then just define or just refine. So that's what I'm often asked about, the bulk and the thickness. It doesn't matter what you're using, if you're just doing a cover pink, a clear, if you're using coloured acrylic as design, if you're putting glitter in, the thickness is always the same. You're always aiming for that credit card thickness. I'm just going to dust that off. Make sure I've got all the dust with my little brushy bit. And then I'm going to pop some of my LED top gloss on. So this is, as usual, my CJP LED top gloss. And then I'm going to cure this for 60 seconds. Now, working with my practice hand, rather than trying to gently slide the fingers into my lamp, I used my little A-body travel lamp. I did a review on this. I will pop the video in the link in the description below, because this is so much easier when you're working on a practice hand. So I'm so sorry if you heard my boyfriend burp very loudly in the background there. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Any questions, comments or requests, pop it below. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.